Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Let's Talk with me, Joe Emilio. And usually I have a guest, or not a guest, I have my co host, Werner Weber, with me. We discuss interesting topics. Tomorrow night we will be discussing an interesting topic, but I'll talk more about that later. Tonight I have a special guest with me tonight, and I have to say this before I bring him on. This is almost like a disclaimer, if you will. Um, he is a normal guy. He's your average person on the street who supports um, South Africa, Capitalist Party of South Africa, and we had a bit of a. When I say we, I mean there's a group, the Capitalist Party of South Africa group, on Facebook, and it was brought to. It was someone posted in that group, "Hey, why the name? Um, Capitalism is a swear word." I think that one was posted. Someone said on Twitter, "Capitalism is a swear word." So that raised an interesting discussion in the group, and there was talks about maybe we should change the name and all that stuff. Now, that's basically what we're going to talk about during this video. And we will definitely get to, or at least try to get to anybody who's watching. We will definitely take your questions as we go along, or we'll probably may do a Q&A towards the end. We're only going to be on the air for an hour. Towards the end, we'll leave maybe 20, 15 minutes for questions from anyone. It's important to note that my guest, Christoph Smuts, is not a politician. He just has insight about the party, and he's a big supporter of the party. And we're just going to get right into that and discuss the name capitalist South African, South African Capitalist Party. So, ladies and gentlemen, please be nice. Oh, that reminds me. You can ask questions all you like. Like I said, I will bring them up on the screen. We'll debate or we'll talk about it. But if there's anyone being rude in the live chats, I will ban you. So this is supposed to be a very nice adult discussion between one another. And yeah, so let's get right into it, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome my guest at this time. I've met him for the first time today. Christoph Smuts. Hello, Christoph.
Hello. Thank you for having me on.
You're welcome, man. Thank you for doing this. It's going to be interesting. So right off the bat, let's just first introduce you. Tell us who you are, what you do. Yeah, tell us who you are, what you do.
Okay, so my name is Christoph. I do work in media, so I do everything from producing to making graphics, editing videos, that sort of thing, like freelancing kind of
Okay.
work,
All right.
hands for hire. And I, in my free time, I do the admin for the ZACP group on Facebook. I was also elected as the media person for the ZACP in the Western Cape, and I also work as a basically like a community manager, getting feedback in from the community, not just from the group, but from the different platforms that we have that we communicate with supporters and people who don't support us, who come in and they have criticism. I try and facilitate the discussion.
Uh, Christoph, are you still with us?
And yeah, that is me.
All right, cool.
And I make
Sorry,
memes.
you make memes. Sorry, you cut off.
You have a signal problem here.
You got cut off a
Yeah,
little bit towards the end.
yeah.
If you want to repeat what you said there before the memes.
Yeah. Let me just see if this is not the cell phone issue here.
Okay.
Um, because Are, are you hearing me? Are you seeing me continuously? Are you breaking up?
It's
What's
lagging.
happening?
Yeah, it's lagging. Yeah.
It's lagging. Okay, let me see if I can fix this quickly.
All right.
Okay, it looks like it's smoother now.
Yes. All right.
Yay! All right, cool. Sorry
No
about
worries.
that.
No worries. We have some comments already. We have Unati. I cannot pronounce that last name. I'm so sorry. Unati Gxarisa is here saying, "Hey, we have the dodgy idealist is here." And Rachel Nell all saying hello. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please tell people to join us. We are very interested to hear what some people have to say about this topic. Now, let's get right into it because we're gonna be. This is gonna be. Is gonna. We're gonna talk. We're gonna talk. So ZACP stands for Capitalist Party of South Africa. Okay, very briefly. Very briefly, if someone told you what are your core beliefs of the party, I don't want you to go into detail. I know you guys have 10 principles and stuff like that. People can go to the group, and I'll leave the link in the description below so people can go to the group and read those principles. But if someone told you, sell me ZACP in about 2 minutes, what would you say?
I would say power away from the government, more distributed to the individual.
Yeah.
That is personal power, personal responsibility.
Mm.
That is the core value I would believe is the ZACP. We want people to be empowered to do things for themselves.
Yes.
So small government, if you want to put it that way. Like this is why I think there are some Republicans or Republican supporters that feel drawn to the ZACP, and you also get people who are like libertarians who feel like left wing and right wing libertarians, by the way, that feel drawn to the ZACP because of that thing of the state should do less, and we, as the people of South Africa, should do more. The state should get out of the way.
Mm.
So that is how I've been selling it to people. What I would do is I would try and identify the legislative barriers that might be in the way of an individual's life, and how you can remove those barriers to make it easier for them to prosper.
Yes.
Um, yeah, cutting red tape. That's the most basic way that you can put it.
So I have a question here, and it's a good one. It's something on what you just said. What exactly do you mean with small government?
Small government. Well, there is a libertarian, which I would not mention right now, but he's a good guy, who, when I got into the ZACP, when I was still looking for a political party, actually, he told me that everyone is a libertarian until that one thing they need government for.
Hmm.
Okay. What I would say is where I am an extremist in terms of my libertarian views. I want government to do as little as absolutely possible.
Hmm.
And every time I come to an excuse of something that I think the government should do, like police or military or something like that, there would be someone like Martin van Staden that would jump in and say, no, not even that.
Hmm.
Okay. So the spectrum of libertarianism, goes further.
Yes.
But I would say there is room for pragmatism. You can't just drop a government that is just small and slim on top of the people that is dependent on the state.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to roll back, over time. You can't just drop it onto the people that will cause chaos.
Yeah.
You have to give people room to adapt to this freedom.
Mm.
because freedom comes with responsibility. That is a very important thing that
Yes.
people have to know. You can't have freedom and have the state look after you.
Mm.
You must have freedom to choose your lines of where you want to go in life.
Yes.
You must be free of the state, but you can't just take someone's social grant away.
Mm.
No, you have to create an opportunity that is
Absolutely.
more appealing,
Mm.
that they are drawn to, so that they don't need the grant.
Mm.
So that is how I see it.
Yes. And your view on, like I said, we were told that it has been said that the word is, or that the word capitalist is a swear word. I think it's
Yeah,
important to first define capitalist and then explain your view on that statement.
free market economy. That is capitalism.
Yes.
It's straight up. It's you've got something, I've got something. There's something that I got. I value less than the something that you have, and we exchange. That's capitalism,
Mm.
right? That is the everyday hustle that
Mm.
everybody has.
Mm.
Going to work, I exchange my labor for currency.
Yes.
And that currency I exchange for whatever. That is straight up capitalism.
Yes.
Um, Even your most ardent socialists out there that hate capitalism, they will tweet that, till they blue from their Apple phones and their, it's the biggest, hypocritical meme. They would sell socialist albums like Immortal Technique and stuff like that, um, in a capitalist market. And then it would say, yeah, yeah, but this is only the way that I can make money. Yes, it's the only way that you can make money because it's the market.
Mm.
you know, um, but the thing is, I sometimes think that the socialists don't really understand what is meant by government force, what is meant by how it happens that you lose freedom every time the state grows larger. I don't think people understand that concept, but I think we can see it now in real time with the lockdown. With the lockdown, you can actually see how people who have praised the lockdown, are kind of being taken aback and realizing, oh shit, I am not the oppressed. I am not the poor. I actually have still access to the internet, and I can still tweet about, whiteness and whatever. It's they don't see that it's still their most critical theory at this time, right? They don't see the people who are suffering and the domestic workers that still want to work. They want to work.
Mm.
It's not. They don't knock on the door of the employer saying, please give us money. They knock on the door saying, please, let me come to work so that I can earn a living.
Yes.
They want to work.
Yes.
Okay. It breaks all the the preconceived ideas of how we thought our society was put together. There's a lot of people that think that, the majority of people in this country just want to sit on their butts and do nothing. And that is not the case.
No, it's not.
That is absolutely not the case. There are just things, for instance, like the national minimum wage, that are causing immigrants to get the job because they work outside of the system. So the jobs are there, and they don't feel exploited at all. They drive around in their, slop cutter, while people, struggle to get a start
Mm.
in the economy.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah, I did a project with the Langenberg Unemployment Forum, and the guy, they told me that the unions, they don't represent the unemployed.
Mm.
They represent people who are already in the system, who are already working,
Mm.
and the unemployed are the majority.
Mm.
You know, so right now, at least with the lockdown, they're definitely the majority.
Yeah.
So
I have here a question from Beast Invader, which I am going to address, uh, it's related to what we're talking about here about the name. He says, or she says, I'm not sure if it's a he or she. But why use the word capitalist in quotation marks?
oh,
If you know it will alienate voters when better terms exist.
okay. So I would say, look, I didn't come up with the name of the party, first of all, but I will defend the name because, first of all, I love how it triggers lefties. It's amazing. It's like you could just say you're here from the Capitalist Party, and it's like gorgeous. Like, and that within itself gives you so much free airtime. You would not believe, right? I mean, I've seen people change the acronym of our party to ZARP just so we don't get extra free airtime because they want to make us sound like we're the Republican Party because half of the people that voted for us like Trump and the other half don't. So I don't really know. Maybe we're bipolar. I don't know. But anyway, capitalism, the honest hustle is universal, as we have seen with the lockdown. There are people still working in the townships, still going out doing their thing. They don't give a crap.
Yep.
And when I see things like that, and South Africa being ungovernable like that, um, it tells me that South Africa is a bunch of, a bunch of natural libertarians. You know, they just don't care about the rules. They just do what they feel is necessary. You know, and most people don't die around them. Okay, yeah, we do have a dangerous society, and there are many reasons why it is dangerous. But a lot of people, when they break the rules, they do it within reason.
Mm.
Okay, they do take their personal, consequences and things into account. Most people are reasonable. There are many studies, even if they're stupid, people understand that certain things will kill them.
Mm.
So it is that thing. Capitalism, to answer your question, is a good word to use because it is the polar opposite of the mainstream.
Yes.
Okay, and that is what we are advocating for.
Yes.
You can draw on the masses of literature on capitalism versus communism as well, and you can make the cost benefit analysis, so to speak, between the two, because that's there, and the conflict between capitalism and socialism is now more than a century old.
Mm.
So you can draw on that, and you can draw on the examples of free markets, and you can show where free markets have created prosperity. There are many, many reasons. And the other reason is when you speak to somebody and you talk about capitalism and they are offended by that or triggered by the word, then you know where their positions are. Then you could either go, A, not waste your time on this individual, or two, use it as a useful opportunity to discuss the differences between the two systems, because this is not being taught in schools.
Mm.
I learned this in economics class.
Mm.
I did not learn this in school.
Mm.
So this is what I'm saying. Like, people don't know the difference between the two.
Mm.
So there are many opportunities that are opened by it as well.
Mm.
And also, communism is a boogeyman. Okay?
Yes.
And communism is scary as hell if I think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, how many people now? What, 100 million?
Yeah.
Like, no, no. We're stopping it here. So, this is not gonna happen.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Like if we can get this idea to penetrate in terms of like what I've seen, how some EFF supporters, realize that they're actually capitalists in terms of their beliefs and in terms of their dreams, in terms of what they want in their life. They want to own their house. They want to own their car. They do have those material things that they want, and they don't believe within themselves that they are going to steal that from someone else. They want to work for it. They want to hustle for it, right? And they only go to the EFF because it's not the ANC, right? The peels haven't yet fallen off the eyes, okay, because they haven't been introduced to the new idea. So the moment you put the principles in front of them, the moment you start talking about the EFF manifesto and how it conflicts with their needs, you just like, dude, you're going to vote for this party. Are you sure that you're signing up for X, Y, and Z, right? Those are the things that you need to focus on. You need to do voter education, because you have to understand that a lot of money is being spent to program people to hate you. So you need to prove to them that, look, I don't care if you hate me. I don't care. I want it to be legal for you to hate me. That's fine.
Yeah.
Hate me all you want, right? Tell it to my face. Tell me that I'm a racist bastard to my face. I don't give a shit. Okay? But just let's have a conversation, even though you think that, right? And let's not talk about me, because I'm not in power. Let's talk about the people who are in power and what are their plans for your prosperity.
Yes.
Like for your future, for your, growth, your personal growth. And then you start to see the narrative unravel fairly quickly, because then people start to see you as a human. There's also this thing where that I find amongst a lot of white people, that they just, think that, a black person can't be convinced. They can't be convinced not to vote for the ANC or not vote for the EFF. Like, bitch, a lot of them didn't vote at all.
That's true.
It's like, and a lot of them didn't even find a political home yet. And the DA can't do it. They tried. They have millions of rands that they push into an election. I think they spent the most money on this election that just passed than they ever did, and they still tanked, and support. So that's a good indication that the idea barrel is empty now. Okay, so new ideas need to come to the fore. And even if the ZACP is just like this small little party that barks at the feet of the DA just to get it to do something, then I'm happy. If our ideas filter through to the mainstream just because we talk about it on some Facebook group, that's fine, right? We win when that happens. Okay, all right. It's more important that we get this idea into South Africans' heads that you do not need the government to get yourself going. There are so many people that I would talk to that are in a spot and they would say, I'm waiting.
Yes.
I'm waiting.
Yes.
Waiting for who? China? Like,
excuse the pun on that one.
Yeah. South China. So, like, whatever. But you get what I'm saying. There are many people that have this mindset. They're waiting. They're waiting. And that wait is going to kill them.
Absolutely.
Like, but nothing is going to happen. And it's going to, look, it takes hardship. It takes real hardship for people to get out of the entitlement complex, right? And it's not the poor that needs to get out of it. It's the middle class, right? This is now apparently so apparent right now, especially what you see is happening on social media during this lockdown, that we've got tons of middle class people that are uneducated. You talk about the uneducated masses. These people with the university degrees who don't know nothing about reality.
Jamil.
Like, well, let's not give that wallflower more airtime than it deserves. But yeah, I mean, Do you have any other questions? Because I feel like I'm just rambling here now.
No, no, no. You're not. You're not rambling. Actually, people are interested. I'm seeing a lot of comments come through, and please keep the questions coming. Of course, I have plenty of questions, and they are. It seems like everyone in the chat so far is agreeing with you about the free market, capitalist views and stuff like that. I was told that capitalist is a culture. Would you agree with that statement?
Yeah, I would say that is. I would say that is. I think that takes a little bit of culture in you to walk up to someone that makes you an offer and say, "Look, I'll take that, but I will take it at a 10% discount." And then that guy goes like, either calling your bluff or not, right? Like, I think it takes some culture. I think it takes some culture to sell something.
Yes.
I think it takes some culture, some backbone to hustle.
Yes.
I think to get this whole thing into your head that you have to get up in the morning and go get some,
Yeah.
you know, that is a culture.
Mm.
It is not. It is not the whole thing of just lying down and just waiting things to happen to be done for you.
Mm.
I think that is a culture too. But I think that we can nestle into it. I think we can go and we can find people that have these creative, innovative minds and actually just, they just want to see the see the or realize the potential that this country has because there's so many ideas, so many people that are brilliant in this country that left to their own devices, they will, build spaceships.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is and I've seen this time and time again. Um, so it can happen. They should just be allowed to. I mean, can you freaking imagine the economic opportunities that we will unlock if we just let people generate power?
Mm. Yeah.
Just that simple. Just let just have people be able to buy solar grids and sell the electricity back into the economy. And I know there's a lot of technical things that you have to work out in between things like that. But if it can be done in other places around the world, then the technology exists, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
So, I mean, can you imagine? I mean, how much it would mean for some people, in the poorer areas, just to have that little bit of extra cash flow, because they had like a solar panel on their roof that they rent maybe from someone else,
Mm.
or rent by
Yeah.
paying it off, having that system in place.
Mm.
I mean, there are many other things that I can think of that are being stopped because the state is in the way.
Yes.
I
No.
mean,
I know a friend of mine who was trying to start a air conditioned company. Well, not company. He was selling air cons, and they're like hybrid air cons. So they use electricity, but it can be switched to use the solar panels on your house. So it draws energy from there. And he was stopped from doing it because they can't put tax on it. They can't, there's no management of it. The government said no. And even though I think later on he did manage to get it into market, nobody wanted it. But that was for different reasons. That was completely different reasons. Okay, so let me ask you this because this I think might trigger a few people, and it's again we're just discussing it. I got this from Twitter as well. On Twitter, capitalism will always be synonymous with apartheid and oppression, and I think that's in relation to the name, obviously, using the word capitalist or capitalism. What's your take on that? What do you say to that?
what is how is restricting a white business owner from doing business in a township or other way around? How is that free market? How is reserving certain jobs to certain skin color groups? Um, how's that free market?
Mm. You're talking, of course, of BE.
Yeah, by laws. How is the restriction of people's movements?
Mm.
How's that free market?
Mm.
Explain that to me.
Yeah.
Apartheid being a capitalist system is a complete and utter sham. It
Yes.
is not the case. Like the Americans only backed us because we were lenient we were more turned to the West. The West, you know, it has always jumped on the horse of the dictator or any country that still has a better chance of aligning with them no matter what their domestic policy is.
Mm.
Okay, I mean, look at their friends in the Middle East. I mean, so it does. Or no, no, even worse. Look at their friends in South America. like, like, yeah. So it can get nasty, you know, if you're like associated with a known capitalist power.
Yes.
But let's go to the United States. Is the United States really still capitalist? Because there's a lot of cronyism happening there.
Yeah.
And corporate socialism is still socialism.
Mm.
I mean, if you're spending like a massive amount of money that you just print out of nowhere on your corporations to bail them out, even if it's a crisis or not, um, that's still tax money. That money still has to be paid off. That's still debt. You're still letting the average man on the street, suffer because you wanted to save a corporation.
Mm.
Okay, that should have planned for these contingencies.
Mm.
You know, a good corporation should. If a corporation don't plan for something, then if there is a black swan event that kills it, well, it dies. It does. You invested money in it, tough shit.
Yeah.
It's like that's how it works. That's how it works. If you can't make the right strategic decisions with your financials, that's on you.
Mm.
It's
Yes.
not if someone else scams you online with a 491 Nigerian scam, is it the Nigerian's fault that you fell for it?
No.
No, it's not. You, as the consumer, should have done your research.
Mm.
Okay? Responsibility
Yeah.
is the thing that people need to start, taking seriously and stop like thinking that the state should protect them against everything. Like hell, our ancestors would be so freaking ashamed of us with all these protections that we want, from everything. Like, yeah, I mean, life is dangerous. You're
Mm.
not going to get out of it alive.
Yes. I think we've touched on this, so I'm going to bring it up. What do you think of the term white monopoly capital? That was given? Do you think it's given capitalism a bad name?
White monopoly capital was a term that was cooked up by the Bell Pottingers of the world,
Yes.
and they just pulled it in, but they just like pulled it into the South African narrative, and it's been kept going by the communists. And even with what is very telling was that I don't know if it was Blade or it was Vavi, I'm not sure, but it's one of the prominent commies said something about, even though there's evidence to suggest that this was cooked up by a PR firm, it's still true. It's still true. It's it's still a very truth. So there is an interest into keeping this narrative going, but I want to know which white man holds the monopoly. Is it Rupert?
Exactly.
Is it Oppenheimer? Are they working together? No, bro. Those guys would undercut each other anytime. If there's a business opportunity that the one could, outstretch the other one in business, then they would. There's no like conglomerate of white people, coming into a room and say like, oh, this is how we're going to screw over the black people. No, it's not. It doesn't happen. Okay, it's not the case. All right.
Yeah.
And if it did, I haven't been invited yet. Please invite us. We need money for this. All right. No, but seriously, like there is no such thing. The only monopoly that is in this country right now is the state.
Yes.
Right. Just look at the proportion of the economy that the state takes up. Look at the proportion of land that it has in proportion with any other group, or any other land owning, firm or whatever. The state holds the monopoly, all right, and people vote for that state. Yeah, a small percentage of the electorate. So, so that is there. That is there. That's the monopoly. So I don't really know. Does a white person that takes BEE tenders, is that person part of the white monopoly capital, or is that person not part of the white monopoly capital because he's got party affiliations? I mean, what is the criteria of this white monopoly capital? I mean, when is it okay to make money?
Yeah, you're right.
That's the whole thing. At what pay grade or salary do you need to be before you start paying privilege tax? I just want to know. Is it like do I like you understand? It is just a weaponized term, just like anything else.
Yes. All right. Well,
it's like itself as well. BEE.
Yes.
Like if you go and you look at who the beneficiaries are of BEE, it's not the masses.
No.
It's the same contractors that just get fatter and fatter and fatter.
Yeah.
Why? Because the qualifying criteria is black. It's not poor, it's not needy, it's not creative, it's not innovative. It's just black. So that black person could be anyone that is closest to the golden pot. And that is what has been happening.
Yes.
That's the tragedy. That is one of the reasons why we still have a lot of people that are just excluded from the economy. And that needs to change. We need to change it to need. We need to start uplifting merit, because we've got merits. Oh, we've got plenty of merits, and they are across our society.
Yeah.
And because the majority of the people in our country is black, obviously, the majority of them are going to get helped. So it's the whole race thing for me is so played through right now. It just doesn't matter to me anymore.
Yes.
Because it doesn't matter to the socialists. It only matters to them when they can use it as a weapon.
Yes.
So
we were actually discussing that off air about how racism has been weaponized, and I kind of don't want to get into that now. I would love maybe to have you back again to discuss that aspect of it, because that is an aspect of it. But I don't want to get into that because that is a whole nother can of worms that we can spend hours discussing. I really want to try and stick to the idea or the topic, which is capitalist and its name or the word. And I'm getting some interesting responses to what you've been saying. So to keep us on track, Beast Invader, who informed me that it's a he. Thanks again for tuning in. I think he's talking about when you said the bailouts. The bailouts prevented millions of job losses like now. People and companies were affected by the 2008 crisis who were not responsible for it. And then he also said, white monopoly capital assumes power is dependent on finances rather than economics, being dependent on power and politics. Do you agree or disagree with those statements?
Okay, let me just address them one at a time. The one was about the bailouts.
Yeah, prevented millions of jobless.
Okay. A lot of those bailouts that went in the United States in 2008 were going to hedge funds. Let me be clear. The hedge funds caused the nonsense. All right, it was a mortgage crisis.
Yes.
Okay, and those guys still got like fat checks because of that.
Yes.
So, and you have this phenomenon in the United States with the revolving door, where you have the lobbyists and the corporations like working together, you have to understand that if you think about the corporation, the massive one, okay, I have to put this very, very carefully now before people like throw me with stones, because it took me a very, very long time to understand as well. So I hope I can put this correctly. But a mega corporation, okay, Disney, for instance, right? When Walt Disney was still around, right? When he was still kicking and screaming, if Disney releases a blue-haired R2D2 screaming pronouns on the next Star Wars movie out, right, for the sales, Walt Disney would die again if you saw that. Okay, but the corporation itself wouldn't give a shit. Okay, because what the corporation does, it is beholden to its shareholders, right?
Yes.
It is beholden to, also a mass of people that, are, sharing the means of production, as you will, because they all have like a little stake, in this thing. So to a certain point, the managerial class, like the CEOs, massive of these corporations, they could become like politicians, in terms of how they view their organization and how they run their organization. And this is why you get situations where corporations cozy up to government so that they can get favorable terms in terms of how they deal in the market. So that they can, so like Mark Zuckerberg telling Congress, we want regulation. We want to help you write the regulations, out of Mark Zuckerberg's words. Why? Because the more regulations you put on the table, the harder it is for the little guy to come up and, beat you in the market. You have an army of lawyers that can defend you and, can comb through all the rules. But the guy coming up, that's what I'm saying. They don't behave like capitalists. Sometimes these capitalists are the worst capitalists, all right, because they are anti-capitalist when they do things like that. When they start cozying up to government, telling things like, nobody is going to recover, yada yada. It doesn't work like that. Your fixed hard assets are still there. Okay. So, and if a system of fake numbers falls out of place, then the books will balance one way or another, because there's still value, there's still services, there's still skills, there's still, all kinds of other things.
I think.
So I hope I answered the first question, and the second one was the white monopoly capital.
I'll go back to it. It's just 1 second. Yes, white monopoly capital assumes power is dependent on financials rather than economics being dependent on power and politics. Do you agree? Disagree?
Like economics does play a role, in politics, and you will see that happen very soon.
Yeah.
The white monopoly capital myth is based on a lot of presumptions about, who owns the economy. Okay. White people don't own the economy. Just look at the economic activity and who spends what and who buys what and who were buying property in the last, in the last decade. Like there's no white dominance here. Like yeah, you still have people that are better off that are white, and you still have a reasonably strong white middle class, but no, like mega corporations, all these things, they all have still in their top positions, maybe not CEOs, but they've got there's a lot of political influence. But you also have people that are, black or Indian or colored or whatever in those businesses and top positions, they're still there.
Yeah.
So I don't think that I mean, if you think white monopoly capital exists, just look at how many of these white monopoly capital businesses are collapsing around us,
Mm.
so-called, with this lockdown. If they had more resources than the state, they wouldn't.
Yeah. Exactly.
You have some of these VE firms that are still there and still operating.
Yeah.
So I
Mm.
mean, who is getting the benefit when some of the aid arrives?
Yes.
Because I can tell you right now that they're not even going to be able to help all the BE guys
Yes.
by the looks of it.
Yes.
So I mean, where? I mean, white monopoly capital is supposed to survive that. Well, if the white monopoly capital is going to survive that, it's going to be the way that they have survived in the past, and that would be to rely on these things.
Mm. Yes.
So that is what they planned for. That is what if you go and you look at the Afrikaner civil rights groups like AfriForum, they planned for this shit, Bruce. They knew that at some stage this entire shit was just gonna collapse. like they've been saying it for how long now?
Yeah.
So what's going to save them is not going to be how much financial resources they have. What's going to save them is these, and this is also what's going to save the rest of South Africa.
Mm.
These two things.
Yeah.
We're going to have to start just working
Yeah.
on our own problems without the state,
Yeah.
whether the ZACP is in power or not.
Yeah.
That will be your only way you will survive.
Yeah. I'm getting a lot of interesting comments here. Um, there's okay, but okay. So Beast Invader is asking a lot of questions, which I don't mind. Beast, I really don't mind. But I want to try and stick again on the topic of the name capitalist and stuff like that, because he's asking about I think the ZACP political views on human rights, global warming, collective action problems, nuclear weapons, abortion, all that stuff. And again, I will leave a link to the group in the description below after this video, and you guys can go. I believe your 10 principles are in the group.
Yeah, look,
So
like, with many of the things, for instance, nuclear weapons. South Africa signed the non-proliferation treaty,
mm,
so you're not going to touch that.
mm, yeah,
Like that is a global binding treaty in my view. I think that maybe it would have been cool to have a couple of nukes, but do we really need them? Do we really do do we are we facing off with a mega power that's going to nuke us in return?
mm,
Nah,
mm,
like no. And if you're going to proliferate nuclear, look, if nuclear weapons start proliferating in Africa, and we have direct nuclear threats pointed at us,
mm,
by all means,
mm,
get a nuke.
yeah,
But we do not have that problem. So no,
yeah,
I do think that we still have the isotopes of the bombs somewhere in a vault, and they were compromised by the Chinese, I think. I'm not sure, but yeah, I have to read that up. But I know that there's a letter
yeah,
that Obama wrote to Zuma telling him that our latent nuclear warheads are disturbing him in the White House. so I mean, like, no, they're not really nuclear warheads, it's just isotopes. But yeah, in terms of global warming, I believe that we don't have a policy as on in the party, but environment is part of economics.
mm,
Yeah, if you have a dirty river going past your yard, your property value drops. Okay, so there was this guy in India who went and he cleaned up an entire river, and it basically restarted the tourism industry and agriculture down that entire river just because he went in and he cleaned it. There's economics in making sure the environment is clean.
yes,
Okay. So I mean, for instance, hunting was the one thing that was a contentious debate on the ZACP group a while ago. A bunch of vegans got really mad at me. Um, but I tried to explain to them the economic balance that there exists between the hunter, and the environment and conservation,
Mm.
and how the hunting and tourism industry is financing the conservation effort. And if that wasn't done, there wouldn't be private initiatives, people who have their own game farms for these purposes, that have vast tracts of land that is available for wildlife to walk and roam freely.
Yeah.
If you take that ability away from them to monetize on it so they can maintain the fences, get vets, that kind of thing, because you have to. Even you have to monitor the population numbers. If you don't do that, then they overgraze, and then what? Then the ecosystem collapse. All right. Humans have been too involved in the environment already
Mm.
not to take steps to make sure that there's balance in
Yes.
the places
Mm.
that we reserve for conservation.
Mm.
So you're going to have to pay someone to do the job. Okay. So this is what I'm saying. Like, you sustainable. There's a word in Afrikaans that the farmers use. Volhoubaarheidsboerdery, like sustainable agriculture.
Mm.
Okay. The farmers are very in touch and very dependent on the natural systems.
Mm.
Okay. So they won't go around and do things that are going to completely screw up the environment forever. They will always make sure that they can plant again.
Mm.
Always make sure that when their cattle walk over the grass, they just don't just keel over and die.
Mm.
Okay, they are actually way more in touch with the environment. There's a lot of the people who are sitting in the cities going like Extinction Rebellion, whatever,
Yeah.
that doesn't know anything about nature, because they don't deal with it up close every day. Their livelihoods don't depend on having an environment that keeps being productive. Okay, so
Yeah.
I hope that answers this question on global warming.
Well, like I said, I didn't want to. I didn't really want to go into all that stuff because I feel that is something that a Beast Invader can go to your group and look at the 10 principles, and then you guys can debate it on the group, or he can, because you're a pretty open guy. I mean, you will chat to anyone if I'm not mistaken, right? I mean, if someone
Well, I
wants
like to,
to have a discussion with you about the party, you're not just gonna shut them down, will you?
well, depends. I will troll you if you're being unnecessary. That's
Yeah, but
like
that's
like if you get to
anybody.
a point
Yeah.
where the only way for me to explain a concept to you is to use internet pictures, then I will do that.
Yeah.
so so I mean, I do get nasty. I do get nasty, but I do give people time to explain their positions,
Yes.
and before I do get nasty and impatient. And I suppose it is immature,
Yeah.
but sometimes you have to just you know point out the ridiculousness of some points,
You have to pull a Gareth.
because
You have to pull a Gareth Cliff. That's what you have to do.
yeah, well, I suppose it's a Gareth Cliff, but the thing is, what I like about the community, of the ZACP, is we pride ourselves as people who do not have thin skin. People can make jokes about me.
Mm.
They could rip me to shreds, and I'm probably sure people will do that after this. Um, but the thing is, that's fine. Make like we that is what makes us people that can handle trouble,
Mm.
when we can laugh about ourselves and when we can laugh with each other. Like, and even if we can laugh with the people we disagree with, when we find laughter together, when we find humor together, then that brings us together.
Mm.
And then that is one of the main reasons why I like pointing out the absurdities of what is happening in this country, because everybody deals with the absurdity, whether you're a communist or a capitalist or a liberal or a classical liberal, because apparently there's a difference between the two.
Yeah.
But you know, it is it in South Africa there is a thread of humor, right? Everybody have seen a Leon Schuster movie, for instance. Everybody knows the Nando's ads. You know, like there are certain things that we look at and we go like, yeah, that's South African.
Yeah.
Even though we've got tons of cultures, like we all can relate to this one thing.
Yeah.
We can all relate to Braai Place, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I
just want to.
Yeah. So.
Sorry, I just want to say that Beast Invader did mention. But anyway, I appreciate the answers, even though I disagree. I'm not sure what he was referring to there because there was a conversation happening.
Yeah,
however, you convinced me when he said he here, but he's talking about you. That capitalist isn't a swear word, or at least a swear word that provokes discussion. So it sounds like he's he agrees to that sentiment, which is cool. Look, at the end of the day, I think that, and he says thanks, Christoph, as well. So he's enjoyed the conversation. I think most of the people have, and he says good vibes as well. So again, guys, I do encourage anybody who's watching this video to go to the group. And again, I'll leave it I'll leave the link in the description below, because Christoph, I've seen you how you talk to people, and yes, I mean there was a discussion. He was a troll. I think we both figured out he was a troll, but I don't feel you lost your that conversation went on for 6 hours, and you were still patient, and you were still giving good points back, and you were very polite. I don't feel that you were like, oh, screw you, man, blah, 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 blah. It wasn't like that at all, and I haven't seen you really do that on the group. You can compose yourself, you have composed yourself, and you give facts and you give evidence, which is great, which is why I encourage people to go to the group, because yes, you right now are appearing very passionate about this, but everybody gets passionate about their beliefs and their ideologies. There's nothing wrong with that. So again, I encourage anybody that wants to know more about ZACP, please go to the group. They have the 10 principles there, and Christoph is probably more than happy to discuss them, and some other people that are in that group too. We've had people to ask about our what's it called, the border, how we feel about borders, how we feel about abortion, how we feel about this, how we feel, and people discuss it. And I think that is, and they have a very mature way of discussing it, and I think that is one of the best things about the group, is that no one really comes in and goes like, oh, you're an idiot and da 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 da. Even if you don't agree, people have come into that group to say they don't agree, and then we discuss. And that is something that I have to commend you for.
I have to stop you there. This is like you're wrong.
Am I wrong? Why?
Yes, you're absolutely wrong. People are absolutely rude in that group. They are very rude in that group.
I haven't seen it.
Sometimes things get nasty, but we expect you to handle it. That's what we were saying. Like, handle your business. If someone triggers you, trigger them back. Like that's how it works, bro.
Yeah.
Learn to stand up for yourself, and also make up your own mind. I actually do want to make sure that going forward, that the ZACP remains a political party that is open-minded to other people's ideas.
Absolutely.
Okay? We have to be able to listen to people, otherwise we won't get anywhere, right? We can remain operating within the paradigms of our principles, but we have to listen and we have to engage. If we can't learn to do that, even through crudeness, like when I was defending one of Unati's tweets, there were so many people that were coming after me, and I was just aggressive at them. I was just nailing them one by one, right? Why? Because it was necessary.
Yes.
Okay. So, if you want to be someone that wants to attack, then attack by all means. You want to annoy by all means. But also talk, also discuss, also have your human side, and also tolerate when that comes to you.
Yes.
Okay? You can't throw poop over the wall or not expect your neighbors to toss it back over to you.
Yes.
It doesn't work like that.
I agree with you. I agree with you
So,
100%.
so I would say yes, banter is good. Banter is great. Like let's roughen each other up and let's test each other's ideas to the fullest because that is how the best ideas will float to the top. Because you have to understand, with the ANC becoming weaker as a result of the eyes opening to what is happening and also the voter apathy fleeting away from the ANC, someone else is going to come to the table to lead this country, right? It may be coalition politics, and we've seen how coalition politics have played out in this country in the past. Or it may be a brand new political formation. It may be Herman Mashaba or whatever. These people's dialogue. But we have to try and find the best talent we have in this country because we have them. We do have great, amazing, smart people walking among us. And they are not just rich people. They are poor people with great ideas. I've heard them. Okay? There are people that don't hold college educations that understand real realities because they deal with them. It needs to be listened to. Okay? And that is the real South Africa. That is the future South Africa if we want it. If we don't let these Reds just walk over us and take our rights and do whatever the hell they want. Who the hell do they think they are? Really, who the hell do they think they are? Like, how many times have we gotten rid of a power that was kicking us down in this country? They think they're going to stay forever. No, China. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. All right. Well, I agree with you. I think I was just trying to say that you can. I don't want people to get the impression that you're just like the moment they say something, anything in the group. I mean, obviously, if it's something you disagree with, then you will say something. But it's not like they're going to enter the group and then all of a sudden they're going to get bashed. That doesn't unless they post something, like you said.
No. I want people full disclosure to know the possibility exists that you might get smashed.
Yes, that I've seen. Yeah.
Afraid of getting smashed.
Yeah.
I want you to say what you think, even though you get smashed. I want you to have the unpopular opinion in the room.
Yes.
All right? Even if you think nobody will agree with you.
Yes.
Because I do that myself.
Yes.
I've said things in that group that were very unpopular. Okay? So, I mean, for one good example was the lockdown opposition. Me and Mpiaki were some of the only few people. We had a few, like 10 or I think 20 people, I have to look at the graph again, who agreed and say that no, the lockdown is needed. And we made a principled party argument for why the lockdown doesn't work. And we held a vote, and the vote was for lockdown. And then I just basically stuck to my vote, and I said in the comments, I'm going to wait for you guys for a week, and we're going to have this vote again. Okay. And then we're going to decide which one of the polls are the ones we go with. But I am very disappointed, and I know that I said something that was unpopular, and I probably cost the party votes for that. I think 500 people left the group or something. But well, what happened? What happened? We were right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then all of a sudden, the party just, the group just exploded.
Yes.
Because we stuck to principles.
Yes.
Stick to principles, no matter how hard it is, like, the party or the ideas that we have will die. Because at the end of the day, it's not about the ZACP. It's about South Africa.
Yes.
And the ideas are more important than the votes. The ideas can filter into the culture and even influence the ANC.
Yeah, that's true. All right, Christoph, I've noticed that we've gone a bit over time, but people are enjoying it, which is good. But I do have to say goodbye because I have a show at 8:30, which I need to prepare for. But dude, I think you were spot on with everything that you said. I would like for people, like I said, to go to the group and um, carry on the discussion. Be
Yeah,
be provocative.
find me there.
Be controversial if you want to be. But I will say this: you guys have stuck by your principles, and that to me is a characteristic I am fully behind. I am a supporter of ZACP. I am a supporter of Capitalist. I'm not embarrassed or shy to say that. And you know, I hope that this group will grow, and I hope this video has done the group a service. I hope people will share this. I hope people will at least become a little bit more curious about what this group is all about. So, Christoph, on behalf of my household, I would like to say thank you. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for willing to have this discussion with me. Um, as you know, we already had pretty much the same thoughts and all that stuff. So, is there anything very short that you want to say to the people watching, the people of the future that might be watching? Is there any like small message that you would like to tell people?
If the ZACP is not the party for you, vote for anything that isn't red. Okay?
Fantastic.
But just go and vote, even if it's a tiny party,
Mm,
because the ANC needs to be broken in the next election.
mm,
Okay? Vote for a small party.
mm.
Okay? Vote for ZACP, but if we don't fall into your beliefs, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. We can't suit everybody's needs. But do your research. There are 40 of them. One will be there for you if it's not us. Okay? Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Christoph Smuts, not part of the ZACP, but big supporter of them, and he manages or is admin of the ZACP group. Like I said, I will put a link in the description to that group right after this video is done. Thank you all so much for tuning in. It's been amazing. Please subscribe. Please like this video. I'm actually having while you guys are here, don't go anywhere just yet. I'm having a very interesting discussion tomorrow night with a good friend of mine, Werner Weber. We're going to talk about this. Racism has become colorblind. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm not gonna even try and explain what that could be about. I want you guys to tune in because we're gonna have a very, very, very true, raw discussion about racism. And I would really appreciate it if you guys could share it, could tell people about it. The more interactions we get on this, the better. And I see you all saying thanks. You're welcome. Thank you all for watching. Rachel, Beast Invader, Beth Symes, I see you. Rachel Nell, Anthony Kimball, and so on and so forth. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Don't forget to share this, and peace and good night. I am going to be doing my normal show, Sit Down and Lock Down, later on tonight at 8:30 with my comedian friend and guest, Robin Dunlap. If you guys are interested to come and check that out, we have fun and we play games with you guys. So, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if I don't see you later, have a good day, and I'll see you next time. I'll see you tomorrow night or whenever I do. I'll see you at the next one. Stay safe. Good night.